This movie is about how to call functions in Python. We're going to begin using a built-in function called print. Many functions require input. Each input is called an argument. An argument can be a literal value, for example, 4, or the string hello. It can be the value of a variable. So in this code here, I've assigned a variable num1 to have the value 42. If I want to print the value 42, I can simply say, take the value of variable num1 and print that. An argument can also be something more complicated, such as the result of an expression. Here I have a mathematical expression that sums the values of two variables. Let's switch to Python Tutor to watch what happens when we execute this code. So this is the same code from the slide. We have two assignment statements. The first associates the value 42 with the name 1. The second, the value 31 with the name num2. Then we print, passing in the literal string hello, and hello appears. Then we print, and the argument is actually the value of variable num1, so it prints 42. And finally, we're going to print the result of this expression, looking up the value of num1, looking up the value of num2, summing them together, and we print 73. Many functions have more than one argument, and there are two ways to refer to these arguments. I'll talk about positional arguments first. So in print, we can print multiple things. How does Python know what to print first? Well, whatever appears first is what Python prints first. So these are called positional arguments, where Python says the first thing that comes in is what I'm understanding to be my first input, the second thing is my second input, and so on. Here is similar code. I begin with the same two assignment statements. I'm printing hello again, but now I'm printing more than one thing, what the numbers are and what their sum is. These are called positional arguments. Let's run through that Python tutor code quickly. I do my assignment statement, another assignment statement. I print just one thing, and then I print three things. It's going to print nums are, then num1, then num2, and finally I can print two things. First is a literal value, and the next is the result of that mathematical expression we used before. There's another way to refer to arguments, and that is what is called keyword arguments, where we include the name of the parameter in the function. So print has a parameter named sep, which is what we're supposed to use to separate all the different objects that we print together. And it has a default value of a single space. And we can use that parameter by name. So back to my code. I'm printing two things, and then I'm indicating that I want to separate it with the plus sign. And there's a rule about how we can mix keyword arguments and positional arguments. This line of code is correct. I can use positional arguments and then switch to keyword arguments. Once I've started using keyword arguments, I have to stick with keyword arguments. I cannot put a positional argument after a keyword argument. Let's see how that works in the code. So I've copy-pasted the code into Python Tutor, and we can see it's giving me an error. What is that error? Let's try to run it. Positional argument follows keyword argument. Just can't do it. So let's comment out that code and run it again. Assignment statement, and then print num1, num2, and I'm telling it to separate it with a plus instead of a space, and I get 42 plus 43 printed out. Let's do one more example. Remember earlier that I said we could put in something more complex as an argument, such as an expression. We can also put in the result of calling another function. So here I'm highlighting three functions: print, sum, and len. They're all built into Python. And I'm going to demonstrate a slightly more complex scenario. So I'm going to have a list of numbers. I'm going to take the list of that, the length, L-E-N, len is short for length, of that list, store it in a variable named n, and print the length of the list by looking up the value of that variable. But I could do it a different way. I could print simply by calling the function and having the result of that function be the argument. I also have a line of code here where we're demonstrating that we call the function and use the output to do some additional math. You can store that in a variable and print it out. Let's run that in Python Tutor. Okay, I'm beginning with a list of numbers, the same that we had in one of the previous videos. And then we're calling the built-in function len, passing in the value nums. And we're getting that there are 3 items in that list. Then I'm going to print, looking up the variable n and getting 3. And here's the most interesting part. I am printing with my string, and then it's going to call the length function and get the result directly from that and pass it straight in to print. And mathematically, you can think of that as composing 2 functions. And finally, I am going to compute the average by taking the sum of all the numbers and dividing it by the length, and then printing it out. Thank you very much.